Coming up on Mountain News this morning, one Eastern Kentucky hospital is now only the second in the state to receive a major honor. And we talked with the owner of one Letcher County business about how operations look as they reopen under new guidelines. And in Lawrence County, one business has spent the last few months making sure that thousands of children in the area were fed.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Lacey Roberts, and thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. Today is Wednesday, June 3rd. I can't believe we're already in another new month. Let's go ahead and bring in Brandon Robinson to give us a look at what kind of forecast we can expect for today.
Lacey, good morning to you. It's not too bad at the moment. Still a little bit on the mild side. As you'll see that as you step out the door, you'll feel it too, as temperatures are in the low to mid 60s and then closer to 70 in some locations. But it is dropped off a little bit. Not as warm as it was. It's still at 70. Moorhead, Jackson, Pikeville this morning, Prestonsburg at 71, and Logan at 72. A lot of the 60s floating around. It's still anywhere between right where it was this time yesterday and about 10 degrees colder, 13 up in Moorhead, depending on where you are this morning. But again, out the door forecast, not too bad condition-wise. The heat, though, is going to crank up 88, the forecast high later on this afternoon. We'll talk about the extended forecast coming up here in a little bit.
Thank you, Brandon. Jobless claim numbers in Kentucky are among the highest in the nation. Terry Priest of Lawrence County is self-employed. After closing his business due to orders from Governor Beshear, he has received no income in more than 3 months. Down to an overdrawn bank account, he is pleading for help.
I've been 5 years working on my business. We got federal money coming in, which I understand that's what I qualify for unemployment. President Trump laid money aside for people that were small businesses and self-employed.
Priest has done odd jobs in order to buy propane for his kitchen and electric. He says he hopes something is done soon to help him and others to survive. And one person is in the hospital with serious injuries after a ferry crash in Knox County. The Richland Fire Department posted these photos to Facebook. They say it happened around early Tuesday morning on Kentucky 11 near Valentine Branch Road. Deputies tell us the person was ejected from the car and suffered serious burns. We do not know the extent of the person's injuries at this time. Fire crews in Rockcastle County were able to save 4 horses and their trailer from a fire. Crews with the Mount Vernon Fire Department said 6 to 8 bales of hay on top of the trailer were on fire when they arrived. No horses were harmed. Pikeville Medical Center is now the second hospital in the state to receive cath lab accreditation. PMC has 3 labs, and 2 of those are hybrid labs with the ability to shift from a lab environment to a surgical room at any minute. Hospital officials say that equipment paired with hospital's medical staff is part of the reason for the accreditation. They say it is all part of hospital's growing promise to take care of people in the region.
Our families are allowed not to have to travel 2 and 3 hours away, to have to, stay overnight 2 or 3 days for their mom and dad to have a certain type of procedure. We can do those procedures here, and that's a drastic change from 15, 20 years ago.
The hospital will be accredited for the next 3 years before having to apply again. And as many businesses are opening for the first time in months and figuring out what everyday operations will now look like, the Letcher County Recreation Center opened on Monday, but they still have many restrictions and half of what they offer is still off limits. WYMT's Emily Bennett talked with director yesterday about how the center is handling the pandemic.
74 days we were closed.
The last 2.5 months left the Letcher County Recreation Center with a staff of 2.
But left me and another person here, to try to clean up and try to get ready.
With no money coming in, Director Jeremiah Johnson temporarily laid off 10 of his 12 employees.
It's not like there was another job out there to go apply for. Everybody was the same predicament that we were of laying off and not knowing what was going to happen in the future.
But now the doors are open.
They're glad to be back, and we're glad to have them back.
And half of his employees are back at work.
I'll have a full staff towards the end of the month.
But only the walking track, weight room, and party rooms are open.
Social distancing, not having any type of interaction, close sports, contact, or anything like that.
Following strict cleaning guidelines.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars just in disinfectant, and that will, this type of cleaning will probably never go away.
And asking people to do their part to help.
So when they go work out and use the equipment, they're more than happy to spray it down, wipe it off.
Waiting for more restrictions to lift so the center can be full again. In Letcher County, Emily Bennett, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, the rec center is open every day. The bowling alley, basketball courts, and play area will not open for several weeks. And the 27th annual Osborne Brothers Hometown Festival was supposed to take place in early August in Hyden, but we learned last night that it will not happen due to COVID-19. In a Facebook post, Dean Osborne said, quote, "Our main focus has always been to provide a great festival in a safe family environment." He went on to say, "The health and well-being of our friends and fans are very important to us and will always be our first priority." Dean did say that there may be an online performance instead. And the Polk Sallet Festival is underway in Harlan County this week. While it looks far from normal this year, the scavenger hunt started Monday, while tomorrow will mark the Miss Harlan County pageant. The Voice of Polk is still going on as well. All of it is virtual, and the response is already great.
We are so happy with all the people that have stepped out to help us make this festival possible this year. We really have no income coming in. We have no sponsors. We have no money coming in whatsoever. And all these people stepped up and said, we will help make this festival still happen. And that is a testament to the type of people that we have in our community.
You can find the schedule and all of the events on our website at WYMT.com or by typing Polk Sallet Festival into YouTube. And one rather unique business in Lawrence County is spending the last couple of months feeding thousands. Hillbilly Hibachi has been around for about a year and a half and serves up chicken, steak, and shrimp hibachi. Usually their mobile food trailers are able to travel back and forth, but for months due to COVID-19, that was not the case, so they just posted up in Louisa and fed kids in need for free. Altogether, they say they served around 3,000 kids in the area. Now the traveling has resumed, but they still say they will continue to help those in need.
Well, with this community, they've helped us out so much, not just here, but even in the other areas we go, in Inez and Salyersville and Ashland, Grayson, I could go on and on, but all those places we've been, the communities, that's what has built us. We couldn't have done anything without our customers and their support.
Hillbilly Hibachi posts the locations that they will be at on their Facebook page throughout the week, so you can follow them along.
Speaking of some helpers and heroes, it's time for our daily Helpers and Heroes segment where we highlight those fine folks from across the region who are out there working hard like those last folks were during this COVID-19 pandemic. Let's take a look at our first picture this morning coming to us from Penny Tackett. This is Penny and her co-workers over at the main office of Citizens Bank on Broadway in Paintsville. They're customer service representatives who have not missed a day of work, helping those other essential workers make sure they have money to buy that needed supplies from their bank accounts. They are also wearing their green in support of those who have lost their lives to COVID-19. Thank you for all your compassion and service. Our next picture was submitted by Vicki Hall Lacey. This is Colby Hobson, a Pikeville City police officer, and Ashley Branham, a social worker at Pikeville Medical Center. Both are doing everything they can to help people not only during this pandemic, but every day. Thank you both for what you do for our communities day in and day out. And finally, our last picture comes to us today from Letcher County. This is Marie Pratt. She is a nurse at Whitesburg ARH, a position she has served in for the last 12 years. Before that, she spent another 12 years as a nurse aide. Thank you, Marie, for your 2 decades of hard work and dedication to your patients and our community as a whole. Now, again, still plenty of time to submit those. We're still getting those in, still going to showcase those for a while, so send them to us. Go over to the website, WYMT.com. The Helpers and Heroes section is in the drop-down menu on the left side of the screen. If you want to go just right there on the home page, right below the radar indicator, you see that little box there. It's got the Add Media. Click on that button, or you can also send them to me directly at Brandon Robinson, WYMT on Facebook. Lacey.
Thank you, Brandon. And thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. Coming up, we give you an update on census participation here in Kentucky and why filling out yours matters.